we shine together. Told you I'll be here forever. Said I'll always be your friend. Took an oath that I'm stick it out till the end. Now that it's raining more than ever, know that we still have each other. You can stand under my umbrella. You can stand under my umbrella.
Hey guys, you're welcome back to my channel today. Thank you so much for stopping by. In this video, I'll be teaching you guys how to cut and sew this trendy high-waisted pants with pockets. If you're interested, keep on watching and let's get started. So I already went ahead to fold my fabric into 2 equal halves. To know the amount of fabric to fold, use your hip circumference divided by 4 plus 3 or 4 inches allowance. Okay, so after doing that, guys, next thing I'll do is to start taking my points. So this pant is an high-waisted pant, so I'll be adding band to it. The length of the band that I'll be adding is 1.5 inches, so I'll take out the band of 1.5 inches, then I'll mark the distance from my waist to my hip. Mine is 9 inches. It is 9 inches because this is an high-waist pant. I went ahead to mark the 9 inches and I ruled a straight line across the points. Still taking out the 1.5 inches for my band, I'll go ahead and take my crotch measurements. To get your crotch measurements, a video is going to be displaying on the screen on how to get your crotch line. Place your tape rule a little above your belly button and pass it through your legs to the back. Whatever you have, go ahead and divide it by 2 and it will give you your crotch line. There are other ways you can get your crotch line, but this is what works for me. Okay, so go ahead and place that. After doing that, I'll go down from the crotch line by 4 inches to get my tie line. So the next point I'll take is the length of my pants. So the length of my pants will be 17 inches, but since I'll be making a turn up on the base of the pant, I'll be adding extra 3 inches, so you can go ahead and add more than that. The next thing I'll do is to place my hip circumference divided by 4 plus 1 inch. Okay, I'll place it on the waistline, on the crotch line, and on the hip line. Okay, so place your hip circumference divided by 4 plus 1 inch. After doing that, I'll go ahead and connect the 3 dots into a straight line. So guys, next thing I'll do is to go ahead and create my crotch extension line. To do that, I'm going to place my tape on the crotch line. What I have here is 10 inches. I'll go ahead and divide this 10 inches by 4. So I'll divide it by 2 and then I'll divide what I have by another 2. After doing that, guys, what I have is 2.5 inches. So I'm going to approximate it and make it 3 inches. I'll be adding half inch to that measurement. So I'll go ahead and place 3 inches after the straight line. After doing that, I'll place my tape like this and I'll go up by 1 inch. Okay, so after doing that, I'm going to place the curved part of my ruler from the hip point to meet the 1 inch dots, and from there to meet the 3 inches that I have on the crotch extension line. So make sure it's not too deep. After doing that, guys, this is what I have. The next thing I'm going to do is to place my waist circumference divided by 4. So I'm placing the measurement after my crotch line. As you can see, I'm taking the measurement backwards. My waist circumference divided by 4 is 7 inches. I'll go ahead and add 1 inch for my dart and I'll add 2 inches for my stitching allowance. So you can just add 1 inch for your stitching allowance. Okay, so what I have on the waist line, I'm just going to leave it. Okay, I'm going to leave it. You can just add 1 inch if you want. After doing that, go ahead and connect from the waist point to meet the hip point. So we already have our hip circumference divided by 4 plus 1 inch on the hip line, so we're not going to place any other measurement there. So after doing that, the next thing I'll do is to place my tape on the tie line and I'm going to mark my round tie measurement divided by 2, not by 4. Okay, mine is 11 inches, and because I want this pant to be really free, I went ahead to add 3 inches to that measurement. So you can go ahead and add the allowance that you want for your pants. It depends on how free you want your pant to be. For me, I went ahead to just rule on the 2.5 inches mark, and this is what I have. The next thing I'm going to do is to create my fly zipper. So what I'll do is to place my tape after this straight line and I'll mark 2 inches. I'll go down and I'll also mark 2 inches. After doing that, I'll connect the 2 inches into a straight line. Okay, so after connecting it into a straight line, the next thing I'll do is to use the curved part of my ruler to connect from that hip line to meet the crotch line. So just look at what I'm doing. I'm trying to create a little curve on this area. So I'll place my ruler like this and then I'll connect like this. And yeah guys, that is all for the fly zipper. There are other ways to cut out your fly zipper, but this is the easiest one. After doing that, I'll go ahead and cut. So pay close attention so you know where to cut. I'll open the sides up. The next thing I went ahead to do was to take in my dart, and I notched it so I know where to take my dart. So guys, for the back, I went ahead to fold my fabric into two. So the fabric you'll be using for the back should be wider than that of the front, and I placed my front on the back. What I'll do now is to extend my crotch extension line so the front and the back crotch line is sitting together. Okay, after extending the line, I went ahead to fold in my fly zipper because we don't need that part for the back. So the next thing I'll do is to go out by 3 inches from the front crotch extension line. For the back, I'll go out by 3 inches just like we did for the front. For the both area, it depends on how big you are or the person you are making the pants for is. So for me, I want this pant to be really free, so I'll be going out from the front by 3 inches. You can do 2 inches, you can do 2.5 inches. Okay, remember we already have our zipper at the front, so we are not fixing the zipper at the back. So I extended my crotch by 3 inches for the back. So after doing that, I went up from the waistline by 2 inches and I connected to meet the new crotch line for the back. I don't know if you understand. If you don't understand, just follow what I am doing. Guys, I'm really sorry about the mess on this fabric. Please pardon me. I should have drafted on my pattern paper. Next thing I did was to place my tape on the waistline of the front fabric, and what I had on the waistline was 10 inches. So I placed my tape from this extension that we had at the back and I marked 10 inches. After doing that, I'll be using my ruler to connect from the crotch extension line to meet the 10 inches mark. So this line is not straight, it's a slanted line as you can see. So this is the new waistline for the back. I'll use my chalk to mark my hip line like this. After doing that, I'm going to raise this front up like this. And I'm going to use my ruler to connect from the new waistline for the back to meet the hip line just like this. So make sure the line is not too curvy. After doing that, guys, this is what I have. You can see that the waist for the front and that of the back is not sitting together because we extended the crotch line for the back by 3 inches. That's why they are not sitting together. So next thing I'm going to do is to rule a straight line to meet the hip line. You can go ahead and add an allowance there also if you want. After doing that, guys, I'm going to go ahead and still mark 3 inches that I have on the crotch extension line. I'll mark it on the tie line like this. Like I said, this pant is very free. If you want yours to be tight, on the tie line, place your round tie circumference divided by 2 and then just add 1 inch as your stitching allowance. After doing that, guys, I went ahead to cut, and this is what I have for the back after cutting. The next thing I'll do is to take my dart. So remember we added 1 inch as our stitching allowance. I'll place the 1 inch on the crotch line. After doing that, I'll take half of my nipple to nipple measurement, which is 4 inches. I'll go down by 3 inches on that point and I'll take half an inch on both sides of this straight line. Okay, so this is the same way you should take your dart for the front. After doing that, I'll go ahead and notch so I know where to take in my dart when I'm sewing. So guys, I'll go ahead and pin the crotch area together and I'll go ahead and sew. After sewing, I'll also go ahead and take in my dart. So guys, for the front, I'll go ahead and place my tape like this and I'll go down by 7 inches. Remember, we'll still add band to the waist area. From that 7 inches, I'm going to sew in a curve. I'll sew the crotch line close. So I'll use my chalk to mark it. I'll sew all the way like this and I'll stop at the 7 inches mark. I've gone ahead to do that. I don't know if you guys can see it, but this is what I have. After doing that, I'll open it up for you guys to see. In order for that crotch area to sit flat, I'll go ahead and notch this part like this. So once I open it up, this is what I have. The next thing I'm going to do is to bring in my zipper. So remember we took 2 inches for the fly zipper area. I'll open one part of the zipper area, and I'll go ahead and mark the 2 inches. Okay, so guys, we are fixing a fly zipper, so we're going to fix the fly zipper in such a way that the fabric will be covering the zipper. I don't know if you understand, but just pay close attention and you understand what I'm doing. So I'll go ahead and mark the 2 inches that I left as my fly zipper allowance. Okay, so if you cannot mark, go ahead and iron so you don't get confused. So after marking the 2 inches, okay, this is the part of the zipper that is going to be underneath. So I'll mark the 2 inches like this. I'll connect into a straight line. After doing that, I'll bring in my zipper, and I'm going to place the part of the zipper that is supposed to be here. Okay, I'll place it on the 2 inches mark, and I'm going to go ahead and sew. So guys, I'm done sewing the first part of the zipper, and this is what it looks like. Okay, so this 2 inches is going to be inside. Okay, this is what it looks like. So the other part of this fabric is going to cover this part. Okay, so I took 2 inches. What I'm going to do is to flip my fabric over. Okay, I'll flip it over like this. So pay close attention so you understand what I'm doing. I'll flip it to the wrong side, and I'll go ahead and mark 1 inch on this side. Okay, I'll mark 1 inch on the right side. Okay, I'm marking the 1 inch on the right side. After marking 1 inch, I'll be left with another 1 inch. I'll connect into a straight line. So I'm going to place the zipper on this 1 inch mark. Okay, I'll place my zipper on the 1 inch mark. That way the 1 inch that I have left will be covering the zipper on the outside. In case you don't understand, just look at what I'm doing. Okay, so the remaining 1 inch that I have will cover the zipper on the outside like this. So I'm going to go ahead and pin the 1 inch on my zipper. After pinning, I'll go ahead and sew. So guys, in case you are confused, I have another detailed tutorial on how to cut and sew a straight leg pants with fly zipper inside pocket, and I drafted that tutorial on a pattern. It's very easy to understand. The only difference between that tutorial and this particular one is that that one is a long pant and this is a short pant. So I'll be leaving the link in the comment section. Okay, go ahead and watch it in case you are confused. So guys, after pinning my zipper in place, I'll go ahead and sew the zipper. You can see that the 1 inch that is left on the fly zipper area is covering the zipper on the outside. I'll go ahead and sew my zipper in place. After sewing the zipper in place, guys, this is what I have on the inside, and this is what it looks like on the outside. So go ahead and iron this 1 inch to cover the zipper on the outside. So after doing that, guys, next thing I'm going to do is to sew on this fly zipper area. So what I'll do is to mark 1 inch from this waistline. I'll mark 1 inch down. After doing that, I'll use my free hand to create a curve like this to meet the waist area. So I'll go ahead and sew on this line that I just made. After sewing, guys, this is what it looks like. You can see how neat it is, and you can see how the zip is covered. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do, guys, is to go ahead and take in my dart. So since I already notched my dart, I know where to take in my dart. I'll go ahead and take the dart on both sides. After taking in my dart, guys, this is what I have. Okay, I went ahead to also iron the fly zipper area flat, and I went ahead to take in my dart. So the next thing we're going to do, guys, is to create our pocket for this pant. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and open the pant up, and I'll go ahead and mark 2 inches on the waist area. I'll place my tape like this, and I'll mark 2 inches, and then I'll go down by 6 inches, and then I'm going to connect. You can just slant and you can make it into a curve. It depends on what you want. For me, I'm going to curve it out like this. I repeat the same thing for the other side of the pants. After doing that, guys, I'm going to cut this part out. After cutting the side pocket out, this is what I have. So this is the fabric that I'll be using for the pockets. I'll go ahead and fold the fabric into two. Okay, so the length of this fabric is 10 inches and the wideness of this fabric is 8 inches on fold. So once you open the fabric up, the wideness is 16 inches and the length of our pocket is 10 inches. Okay, the next thing I went ahead to do was to place the part of the pants that I cut out on the pocket, and I went ahead to trace exactly what I have on the fabric. I did it on just one side of the pocket. I'm going to open up the other fabric for the pocket, and I'm going to place them right sides facing right side. It's either you're facing them right side facing right side or the wrong side facing wrong side, so you don't cut out the same pocket. So after tracing out the second one, this is what I have, guys. So the next thing I'm going to do is to pin the part that I traced out on the pocket of this pant. So I'm going to place them right sides facing right side. So the pocket is on the right side and my pant is on the right side. I'll place them like this and I'll go ahead and pin. I'll also repeat the same process for the other side of the pocket. After doing that, I'm going to go ahead and sew. After sewing, go ahead and turn it over using your hemming gum or just iron it flat. If your fabric is lightweight, just go ahead and iron it flat after sewing. After sewing, guys, this is what I have. Okay, so you can go ahead and use your hemming gum to hold the wrong side down. So I'm going to turn my fabric to the wrong side and I need you guys to pay close attention. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and fold the pocket inward. After folding it like this, I'll go ahead and arrange the curved part of the pocket. That is where I just stitched. I'll go ahead and arrange it like this. After doing that, I'm going to fold this part back like this. So that is how we are going to create our pocket. In case you don't understand, I'm still going to turn it over to the right side and I'll explain. As you can see, guys, my fabric is on the right side. I'll flip the pocket in like this. Okay, I'll just flip it in. After doing that, remember we reduced the waist area of the front pant to create our pocket. We reduced it by 2 inches and then we cut it out. So I'll go ahead and mark the 2 inches, okay, from this side of the pocket, and I'm going to place the curved part of the pocket on that 2 inches. Okay, so we have replaced the fabric that we cut out while creating our pocket earlier. So I'll go ahead and pin the pocket on the 2 inches mark. I'll pin the pants on the 2 inches mark. Okay, I'll also pin it on the waist area just to hold it down. After doing that, guys, this is how the pocket is going to look. So I'm going to repeat the same thing for the other side. In case you didn't understand what I did earlier, I flipped the pants to cover the pocket just like this, and I went ahead to mark out the 2 inches that I took out while creating the pocket. So I'll go ahead and mark the 2 inches, okay, because the 2 inches that we took out reduced our waist measurement, so we have to replace it so we don't run short of fabric. So I'm going to go ahead and pin the pants on that 2 inches on the pocket, and then I'm going to pin the pocket and the waist area of the pant together. After pinning, guys, this is what I have. I'm going to go ahead and also pin the sides, okay, and then I'll turn it to the wrong side for you guys to see. So this is what it looks like on the wrong side. You can see that the pocket is already taking shape. So what I'll do first of all is to go ahead and close the pocket. So I'll flip it, okay, wrong side facing wrong side, and then I'll go ahead and sew. After sewing, I'll turn it over. I'm doing that so the rough edges will be inside the pocket. So just flip it over just like you see me doing and sew. After sewing, guys, this is what I have. You can see that it's neat inside outside and the rough edge of the pocket is inside the pocket. I hope you understand. And yeah, this is what I have. You can also go ahead to stitch the sides down, okay, so that your pocket will not move. After doing that, guys, what I'm going to do is to run a straight stitch just to hold the pocket and the waist area together. So I'll go ahead and sew on a straight line, sewing both the pocket and the waist area together. After sewing, guys, this is what I have, okay. So you can see the pocket. You can also see that the pocket and the waist area of the pants is together. And for the back, I went ahead to use my 1-inch allowance to sew the crotch line. I also took in my dart. So the next thing I'll do is to join the front and the back of my pant together. So remember, I left 2 inches on the waist area, so I'll use the allowance that I left on the waist and the hip area to join the both pants together, okay. So I'll go ahead and sew on the 2 sides of my pant. After doing that, guys, this is what I have. I've gone ahead to sew. The next thing I'm going to do is to pin the crotch line together, and I'll also go ahead and sew. So guys, the next thing I went ahead to do was to cut out my band, okay, for the waist area, and I went ahead to iron hair stay to the fabric to strengthen it. I also went ahead to fold in 1/2 inch on both sides of the band, and I ironed it in place. So the wideness of my band is 28 inches, which is my waist circumference, and I added 2.5 inches, okay, to that measurement, okay, because the waist area of the pant is supposed to overlap. So what I have here right now is 30.5 inches, and the length of the band is 1.5 inches on fold. So what I'm going to do is to unzip the pants just like you see me doing, and then I'm going to go ahead and bring in my band. So I'll be placing the band on the wrong side of the pant, okay. So before I place the band, I'll leave 1 inch out, okay, because like I said before, the waist area is supposed to overlap. So I'm going to leave 1 inch before I start placing the band on the waist area. So I'll go ahead and pin all the way around. So I'm pinning the 1/2 inch that I folded on the end of the band to the waist area of the pants. After pinning, guys, I'll go ahead and sew all the way around. So I've gone ahead to sew, guys. The next thing you are going to do is to close up the 2 ends of the pants. So go ahead and sew on a straight line on the 2 ends of the pants, okay, using 1/4 inch on both sides. After sewing the 2 ends of the band, this is what it looks like. So I have 1 inch on both ends, okay, which is going to overlap by the time I'm done sewing. I'm going to fold the band. I'll turn it over like this. So I sewed on the wrong side of the pants earlier, so I'm turning it over to the right side, as you can see, and then I'm going to go ahead and pin all the way around, and I'll sew on it. So remember, I folded 1/2 inch, so I'm going to sew on the 1/2 inch to give it a neat finishing. So I'll sew all the way to the end of the waist area. After doing that, you'll see that both the outside and the inside of this pants is very neat. After sewing, guys, this is what I have. You can see what it looks like on the inside, and this is what it looks like on the outside. You can see that it's very neat. So take your time to do this so you get a neat finishing. After doing that, this is what I meant by the waist area overlapping. So one part, which is the part with the fly zipper, is going to cover the other part. The next thing I'll do is to turn my pants over to the wrong side. So remember, we added 3 inches to the length of the pant. What I'm going to do is to place my tape on the base of the pants, and I'll mark the 3 inches allowance that I left all the way around. After marking, guys, I'm going to go ahead and fold in 1/4 inch like this to give it a neat finishing, and then I'll fold the 1/4 inch to meet the 3 inches mark, just like you see me doing. So if you don't want to do a turn up for the base of your pants, you can just go ahead and hem it. So I've gone ahead to hem all the way around, and you can see that the inside is neat. What I'm going to do is to fold it back to the right side, okay, just to create that turn up. I'll fold about 1 inch. It depends on what you want. I'll fold 1 inch back to the right side and I'll pin it in place. I'll repeat the same thing for the other side. So I'm doing it on the side seam, okay. I'll also pin. After pinning, I'll go ahead and stitch on the 2 side seam. If you don't want to stitch, you can go ahead and iron it flat, or you can use your hemming gum to hold it down, or you can go ahead and hem it all the way around. It depends on what you want. So I'll just go ahead and iron it. If it's not staying flat, I'll go ahead and use my hemming gum to just hold it down, okay. After stitching, guys, this is what I have. This is what the pants looks like. The last thing I'm going to do is to fix my button on the waistline of these pants. And yeah, guys, that is all for this tutorial. I hope it was helpful. Please don't forget to like this video. Leave your questions in the comment section. Subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.